Hi guys, this is Max here, hopefully with another great political video, and today we want to take a look at one of the most crazy presidential elections in US history, which was the presidential election of 1912. Now, for those of you who don't know, that year was supposed to be William Howard Taft's re-election year. Taft was a Republican and the successor of Teddy Roosevelt. However, Roosevelt wholeheartedly disagreed with many things that Taft did during his tenure, and thus he tried for the Republican nomination as well. Roosevelt actually got more delegates heading into the convention. However, Taft in the end won the nomination due to some internal rigging. Now, Roosevelt was understandably a little bit pissed at all of that and announced that he'd be running as a third party candidate. And that's what he ended up doing, with Roosevelt representing the more progressive wing of the Republican Party, while Taft represented the more conservative wing. Nonetheless, there was another player in the room, and that was the Democratic nominee Woodrow Wilson, who, due to the Republican vote being split, became president, even though he only got 40% of the popular vote. In my honorable opinion, Wilson was one of the worst presidents in American history, especially considering his violation of civil and personal freedom, of civil rights and civil liberties. While on the other hand, I really liked Teddy Roosevelt, and Taft was also a good president. Anyway, now, what we're going to analyze in this video is what would have happened if Taft would have accepted the results and if the Republican National Convention would have nominated Roosevelt. Or if, in the aftermath of Roosevelt's third party run, Taft would have just conceded the Republican nomination to Roosevelt. Now, in that case, of course, Taft would not be on the ticket. Roosevelt would be the Republican nominee. Okay, so now, in this scenario, I should say, let's first clear the map. Alright, now, it's important to note that at the time, the Republicans and Democrats were very different from the ones that we know today. The Republican Party was the party of Northerners and Protestants, while the Democratic Party was the party of Southerners and Catholics. And I believe that Roosevelt would have done pretty well on the West Coast. I don't think he would have lost a single state there. Here we can fill it all out. I believe it's safe to say that all of these states would have gone to Roosevelt by pretty significant margins, along with Ohio, which was a quite Republican state at the time, along with his home state of New York. There might have been a few states that would have gone to Wilson. However, all of New England should have been safe for Roosevelt, except for New Hampshire. And Pennsylvania and Indiana, you could also say they'd be likely to go to the Republican nominee Roosevelt. And as you see, that already puts him over the top. Roosevelt already has 270 electoral votes. Now, there would be a few states that Wilson would win as well, though. And some of you might argue, well, it was Roosevelt's third presidential run. He would be the first guy to break the two-term tradition. That could hurt him? Well, yeah, but on the other hand, Roosevelt was a very popular person at the time. And it would have been very unlikely for him to lose that race. Now, I believe that Wilson would have won Missouri and Kentucky nonetheless, which is interesting because at the time Missouri had a streak of always voting with the winner of a presidential election all the way until, I believe, until 2008. With one exception, it always voted with the winner. Anyway, I believe that Iowa and Illinois would have gone to Roosevelt, but that Wilson would have won his home state of New Jersey, not New York, but that he would have also won, and he would have also won Maryland. I do believe Roosevelt would have picked up Delaware, and I also believe he would have won New Hampshire. I'm not sure about Oklahoma. That one could have gone either way. I'm going to give it to Wilson, simply because Roosevelt had forced the incumbent Republican out of the election through primarying him out, and because it was his third presidential run. He might have done slightly worse, but he would have still been TR. So now, that's my prediction. And Alternate History Hub once made a very interesting video about just that scenario and how the world would have been better if Roosevelt would have won that election. That is my personal prediction. If you want to see more alternate history videos, just let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a good day, and see you next time.